Then to end things off, we have Crimson Desert, a game
another crazy good
everyone familiar with. I would say it's been marketed for a very long time. People know it's coming. It's coming from Pearl Abyss, which is Black Desert as well.
The entire game is built on their proprietary engine, which it was fascinating to hear how they've broken it down, because like, you see Crimson Desert and so many things about it look too good to be true. They look crazy. They have hundreds of enemies on screen. They have all of this physics simulation. They have crazy stuff where like they have sky islands. You can jump down from straight down to the surface.
Can I just to explain in the physics simulation that he's talking about? So, for example, if you have like a siege weapon and you throw a boat at a house, you can actually see the destruction starting from where the boat hit and everything else falling through it.
Well, and people see that, and from our frame of like, you know, standard open worlds in Unreal Engine 5 or something, not that that's a bad engine or anything, but like, we see that and we assume, okay, it's gonna run terribly. Okay, it's gonna have frame drops or it's gonna stutter. Okay, this or that. But this is an engine that they have built from the ground up with this game basically in mind. And it's just absolutely crazy because we've had the chance to play it, and that just is what the game is. It's ridiculous and crazy.
It was running, I believe, on a system at AMD's booth with a 9850X3D CPU and an RX 9070 XT GPU, so it does have that going for it. But this is actually a game. It's called Crimson Desert. Now, I did not actually overhear very much of your technical musings on this game. I know you're speaking with a quite well-informed, I think, marketing manager for the studio there. But you actually came away extremely impressed by this game. It's not on a commodity engine. It's not Unity. It's not even a Frostbite. It's certainly not Unreal. It's their own custom engine here. It's a game that kind of came out of left field. I think it's coming out in about 10 weeks or so.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but you definitely had some interesting conversations,
Yeah.
and you definitely saw some impressive tech.
So this is really cool. It's using the Black Space engine, as it's called, I believe. And it's pushing a lot of stuff that we see in other engines, but it's nice to see custom tech from what I believe is a Korean developer here, not using Unreal, and which they're very proud of. Is using a diffuse and specular, as they called it, path trace GI solution. We'll have to see what that means for the final product. That's what it was described as. So you'd get nice diffuse lighting across the scene, indirect lighting, as well as your specular reflections, which did mix with some SSR elements.
Yeah.
But a lot of it still was RT reflections there. Really big range LOD with like very few imposters, if any imposters at all. Local RT lights, as it was described. I'm not sure if it's RT shadows or the lights are RT, as in the direct lighting is. I don't know about any of that. It's one of these things that I just have to look at. It was at AMD's booth, and it was running on this RX 9070 XT. It's 4K output, and they were running it at native res.
Yeah.
I think it was maybe using the game standard TAA.
It did not, the image quality
was left
room
some
for
to be
desired,
desired.
yeah.
Because it didn't look like FSR 4 native. Foliage was an issue, and I don't think FSR 4 would have issues with that.
No.
But yeah, this was running, it looked like in like the 40 to 50 FPS region to my eye. That's where I'd throw it at.
It's kind of VRR'd.
It was VRR'd. But the whole deal is the final game on AMD will be supporting FSR Redstone, and here it means the super resolution, FSR 4 super resolution, or just FSR as they call it now, or something like that. It'll be supporting MLFG, and it will also support ray regeneration, if I'm not mistaken. So this will be one of the titles with ray regeneration coming out in the future. Really cool to check out what that means.
Fest, I just took a look at, actually played a bit of Crimson Desert, which from the numbers on IGN, we know you guys are super interested in as well. And you know what? After playing it, it's for good reason. The two things I want to talk about are the tech and the combat, because they dropped me, they said 15 hours into the story. So that, I have no idea what was going on story-wise, but the tech and the combat. I'll start with the tech. So it's proprietary engine. This is one of the more impressive game engines I've seen in action. It was running full 4K 60 with no AI boosts, assists, with tons of enemies, tons of characters on screen, and just the texture detail, the lighting, the scale, the scope of it. I mean, these are huge, huge outdoor areas. Fire propagates, they have full physics going on everything. Like, it was a really impressive technological showpiece, but I had seen that before. back at GDC, the Game Developers Conference, they gave a more tech-heavy presentation. This time, getting to actually play it, turns out there's a pretty seemingly darn good game running on it as well.
This demo was also an older build, so it didn't have some other really cool tech. They have like a really awesome water simulation in the game with like tons of particles, and it actually has like flow to it and varying height. It isn't just like a deformable mesh that goes up and down and undulates. It does seem to be kind of like realish water based upon particles, which you don't see in almost any games, kind of like physics of old. So I'm going to cover this when it comes out. Hopefully, I hope I get enough lead up to release to make a larger video covering it, because it seems like a great PC focused release here. From using custom tech, which is what we will always want to celebrate on the channel. And I was happy to be surprised with it and see it at the AMD booth, which, like I said, was pretty diverse. They had this little gaming corner, and it was probably the standout thing, one of the standout things I saw at the show.
Yeah, it's funny you say gaming corner, because gaming was definitely put in the corner in a lot of areas with respect to CES this year. But this was a really standout title. I'd be really curious, for my own context here, I'd be really curious to see how this runs on consoles. It does seem to be doing some pretty impressive things. Reminds me a lot actually of Dragon's Dogma in terms of its overall look, overall scope.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a different angle on it, some more fantastical elements, less of that kind of like low fantasy vibe, maybe a bit of a more high fantasy vibe, crossed with, I don't know, kind of some Forspoken almost in there.
Yeah.
With the way that the particles look and
the way you jump
crazy
across the
acrobatics.
Yeah,
that looks pretty cool. I am a little bit curious because they did talk about path tracing. It did not really necessarily look like a lot of other path trace games to me.
I think what I think they mean is that they are not maybe caching their stuff, as in there's not some sort of caching structure. It was described as path trace GI. I don't know what that means necessarily. We're going to have to wait.
Yeah, and there definitely was like a lot of SSR in the mix with respect to the specular reflections there as well.
Yeah. That was obvious enough.
So interesting tech. I think the really standout thing here to me is that it's new, novel technology. I think it might be based off of an evolution of their prior title, which I think was Black Desert, possibly.
Yeah, that's pretty old now at this point.
Quite old title. But yeah, I'm really curious to see how this game lands. I'm really curious to see how it fares on consoles. And yeah, hopefully they can stick the landing on this one, because I'm always a big fan of new technology, and it's quite rare that we see novel technology in games in terms of novel game engines. And it's even more rare that we see the introduction of a new game engine, new technology to games from a developer that we maybe don't have like super crazy high expectations for. It wasn't necessarily on our radar.
It wasn't super on the radar, no.
Yeah, not super on the radar. I think that's actually really cool, and I'm looking forward to it for sure. So
the combat, I would almost say it's like in a way, and this isn't a one-to-one thing, but a 21st century super evolved next version of Dynasty Warriors. I mean, it's not that there are hundreds of guys and you're plowing through, but there are a ton of enemies. You can be attacked by like 10 guys at once. There's guys on horseback running by trying to get you. And there's so much going on combat-wise. And what's nice is you've got elemental powers that you can mix in with your just combat moves. They showed me a lot of different ways that you can combo your attacks together. And so it does seem like there's a lot going on gameplay-wise here, which just is totally aided by the cool tech going on in the background. So Crimson Desert is a game that, again, we've seen really good numbers for it on IGN. I hadn't played it yet until now. I hadn't really even seen it myself other than getting in that tech demo, which wasn't real game stuff. But everybody that's been clicking on IGN's Crimson Desert stuff, you're on to something, because this game, I think, has some serious potential to be a really, really big game once it finally gets done and into people's hands. But for now, super impressed by the first hands-on.
And what's even crazier is that Will even shared with us some very special information that we are breaking here for the first time.
The size of the game is 2
times
Skyrim.
We didn't even rehearse that.
That just happened.
It's twice the size of Skyrim. It's actually bigger than the entire map of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Which is crazy.
Which I love that Will follows up by saying size doesn't matter, but in our game, it kind of does.
But like, we're bigger. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I saw from the first gameplay clip that you could ride a dragon and a bear. Like, quite honestly, I don't know how my body's gonna keep up with this level of testosterone. Between that
It is not the
Dinoblade,
first
like,
game.
dude,
It is not
If
the
there was
first
a dinosaur
game.
to
I
ride,
want to
we'd
see
be
you
in
next
trouble.
year for the next show, and you're just gonna be walking around. Just
put
Guys,
on 40
it's not
pounds
the
of
first
lean
game that you can
mass.
ride a bear.
Huh?
Huh?
What'd you say?
Not the first game you can ride a bear. It might be true, but
different kind of ride.
Baldur's Gate 3 right
But also, when you drop a line like that, you mentioned confidence. Like, you don't drop a line like that without knowing that you are confident in your game.
They are
you
putting
mentioned that for a
themselves
reason.
in the same bucket as Skyrim and Red Dead 2, and I think that tells you all you need to know about their confidence level of where they're at.
coming March 19th.
Coming March 19th.
Let's go. Thank you, those of you who stayed with us from beginning to end. We really appreciate you. This has been a blast to work with on the background. Those guys have been amazing.